At first glance, that 70s movie seems like a sweet tale of rebellious teenagers and silly nostalgia for the 70s. But when the lights go out, the cast members find themselves in completely different situations. Some lose everything, some disappear from Hollywood, and others become millionaires. Let's find out who they actually became in 2026 and prepare to be shocked by their transformation. Mila Kunis as Jackie Burkhart. Mila Kunis was born on August 14, 1983, in Kiev, Ukraine. At the age of 14, she played Jackie Burkhart, a sharp, difficult teenager whose transformation from a rebellious girl into a young woman became an emotionally core part of the 1998 film That 70s Show. Jackie's humorous cruelty and unexpected vulnerability made her unforgettable, but Kunis's journey to adulthood in real life was more difficult than any episode. Her marriage to Ashton Kutcher entered its darkest phase in 2023 after they both wrote letters of support for Danny Masterson before his sentencing. The backlash was swift, global, and relentless, costing Kunis advertising deals, fracturing friendships, and pushing her marriage to the brink of collapse. Therapy became a weekly routine, not as a luxury but as a necessity, as she and Kutcher navigated the shattered trust and fears together. In addition, emotional exhaustion had plagued her for years. The cultural alienation she carried with her since immigrating at age 7 resurfaced in the scandal, reopening old wounds of a yearning to belong in a world that was always ready to reject her. Even amidst resounding successes, such as her Oscar-nominated role in Black Swan, or her long-standing voice work for Family Guy, she still secretly wondered if success could withstand the weight of a single misstep. In 2025, at age 42, Mila Kunis remains active in Hollywood while prioritizing family stability and quietly rebuilding her public image step by step. Her estimated net worth is $80 million, a testament to decades of hard work. Although she often admits that no success can fully alleviate the pain of having to start life over in a country that once felt incredibly distant. Ashton Kutcher as Michael Kelso. Ashton Kutcher was born on February 7, 1978, in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. He joined That 70s Show in 1998 as Michael Kelso, a charming, handsome, innocent young man whose carefree optimism shaped much of the show's early comedic moments when he was just 20 years old. Kelso became the series' main comedic character, a figure who made the chaos seem bizarre yet innocent. But Kutcher's life was never as simple as the innocent exterior of the character he portrayed. His marriage to Mila Kunis weathered far more storms than anything depicted in Point Place. When Kutcher and Kunis wrote a letter defending Danny Masterson in 2023, the immediate and intense public backlash shook their marriage. He later admitted that the incident reopened old wounds from his first marriage and revived insecurities he thought he had buried for years. Their relationship remained strong, but only after months of therapy, apologies, and the painful realization that the world no longer saw Kutcher as the gentle Kelso he once was. Kutcher has also faced his own health problems. Years of heavy drinking in his 20s only ended after a heart attack forced him to quit in 2000. In 2020, vasculitis nearly robbed him of his mobility and eyesight, leaving him dependent on others in a way that terrified him. Although his career remains strong, with his role in 2.5 Men in the Ranch shaping his mature television image, the physical damage from those years has driven him to a quieter, more purposeful lifestyle. Now 47, Ashton Kutcher dedicates his time to acting, venture capital, and raising his 2 children with Kunis on their self-designed ranch. His net worth is estimated at around $200 million, but he often says that money has never freed him from regret, hurt, or the complex legacy of loyalty and the lingering consequences of the Masterson affair. Wilmer Valderrama as Fez. Wilmer Valderrama was born on January 30, 1980, in Miami, Florida. In the 1998 television series set in the 1970s, he played Fez, a quiet, enigmatic exchange student whose quirky personality became the comedic highlight of the show when he was just 18 years old. Fez played the role of an outsider, through which the series explored belonging, loneliness, and the fragile hope of finding a place to belong. But Valderrama's real life presented challenges Fez never faced. His love life, scrutinized by the public for so long, left scars that lasted into adulthood. Relationships with much younger, rising stars like Lindsay Lohan and Demi Lovato fueled years of criticism, leading to portrayals of him as a man caught between fame and emotional immaturity. Lovato's later reflections, and the song widely interpreted as a condemnation of their age gap, created a ripple effect that forced Valderrama to confront choices he had avoided for years. When he finally found stability with Amanda Pacheco, their 2020 engagement seemed less like a significant milestone and more like a fragile second chance. The growing family brought joy, but even that joy was fraught with shadows. The pressure to restore their public image, coupled with the emotional burden of past controversies, created a quiet tension as they prepared to welcome their second child in 2025. Valderrama faced his own anxieties as Amanda continued to work, sometimes using long hours on set as a shield from unresolved stress at home. Now, at 45, Wilmer Valderrama remains a central figure in NCIS while raising two young children with Pacheco and facing the complexities of a calmer, more responsible adult life. His estimated net worth is $8 million, a solid foundation built over the years, representing both self-renewal and regret. Debra Jo Rupp as Catherine Kitty Foreman. Debra Jo Rupp was born on February 24, 1957, in Glendale, California. At age 41, she played Kitty Foreman, the warm, smiling mother whose laughter provided the emotional rhythm of the Foreman family in the television series That 70s Show from 1998 to 2006. As the heart and soul of the sitcom series, her character diffused conflicts, giving the show an unmistakable sense of ease. However, behind that warmth lay an actress carrying wounds that audiences never saw. Her 1993 divorce from Tom Vreek left her with various emotional scars. 16 years of marriage ended in arguments about family, priorities, and a career that consumed her energy without providing stability. Therapy became her salvation, helping her rebuild her emotional foundation just as Hollywood began to recognize her talent. The success of Friends and Seinfeld opened new doors, but each new role brought different pain. Health problems emerged insidiously. A pre-diabetes diagnosis in 2010 forced her to confront long-neglected habits, reshaping her routine during a period of dwindling auditions and depleted energy. When COVID-19 disrupted production, she found herself isolated again, grappling with the same emotional burdens as decades earlier. Returning to the role of Kitty in the 90s television show brought joy, but also created the pressure of maintaining the stamina that was once difficult to achieve. In 2025, Debra Jo Rupp, 86, is still actively working, performing on stage and television with the same determination that helped her overcome pain and illness. Her estimated net worth is $5 million, a modest figure for a television icon, but every part of it reflects the resilience built through each role. Tommy Chong as Leo Chinquak. Tommy Chong was born on May 24, 1938, in Edmonton, Canada. At the age of 61, he played Leo Chinquake, a soft-spoken, endearingly confused, wandering hippie who became a beloved character in the television series That 70s Show from 1998 to 2006. It was a role that looked very natural on screen, even as his personal life was in turmoil. His marriage to Maxine Sneed had broken down before his fame reached its peak. When he married Shelby Fittis in 1975, he found stability, but the relationship was constantly challenged by the erratic pace of his career, from reunion projects with Cheech Marine to sudden absences due to legal troubles that disrupted the family. And as his family gradually settled back into a stable life, illness disrupted everything again. Prostate cancer forced him to undergo treatment in 2012, followed by colorectal cancer in 2015, both reshaping his self-perception in ways he never expected. His recovery was slow, and the mental burden of his illnesses impacted his work. Returning to the role of Leo in That 90s Show felt triumphant, but he also admitted that stepping back onto the set after recovering from cancer was a reminder of his body's fragility. Shelby was always there for him, though the fear of relapse made even ordinary days feel like borrowed time. Today, at 87, Tommy Chong is still alive and active, dedicating his time to selective filmmaking, activism, and the cannabis business, all of which helped build his legacy. His estimated net worth of $20 million gives him peace of mind, but what truly keeps him grounded now is the feeling of having overcome everything he once scoffed at. Lisa Robin Kelly as Lori Foreman. Lisa Robin Kelly was born on March 5, 1970, in Southington, Connecticut. At age 28, she played Lori Foreman, the sharp-witted, scheming older sister whose chaotic presence brought a dark humor to the 1970s television show from 1998 to 2006. Kelly infused the character with a sinister charm, making her unforgettable. But behind that role lay a broken life she had carried for years. Her marriages had all crumbled under the weight of addiction. Her first divorce in 1996 marked the beginning of a series of crises from which she never fully escaped. And her second marriage to Greg Laird in 2005 broke down due to violence, substance abuse, and nights of uncontrollable rage. Each separation exacerbated her dependence on alcohol, increasing instability that ultimately led to her removal from the show in season 4. The more she resisted, the more her body deteriorated. Years of drinking caused her chronic liver stress, insomnia, and tremors, making acting nearly impossible. She attempted a comeback through small projects like SUX, 2BME, 2012, but each attempt was interrupted by legal issues related to addiction, drunk driving, family disputes, and arrests, reflecting a woman slowly losing herself. By 2013, a rehabilitation center became her last refuge. Sadly, Lisa Robin Kelly passed away on August 15, 2013, at the age of 43, after accidentally overdosing on alcohol and sedatives at a rehabilitation facility. Her estimated net worth at the time of her death was approximately $1 million. Tanya Roberts as Margaret Midge Pinciotti. Tanya Roberts was born on October 15, 1955, in the Bronx, New York. She was 43 years old when she played Midge Pinciotti, the innocent, charming, kind mother whose humorous naivety gave a light-hearted tone to the 1970s television show. From 1998 to 2004, her character became iconic of quirky suburban glamour, offering warmth enveloped in innocent charm. However, the woman behind the character of Midge carried far greater burdens than her bright on-screen image suggested. Her marriage to Barry Roberts had once been a solid foundation, but as his cancer progressed in the early 2000s, the mental strain weakened her. She left the 1970s television show after the third season to care for him, and the long nights in the hospital deepened the loneliness she rarely spoke about. After her husband's death in 2006, she refused to remarry, saying privately that grief had closed that chapter in her life forever. Years later, she suffered from chronic kidney infections, a condition exacerbated by decades of pressure from Hollywood. As the infections worsened, her immune system weakened to the point that even a mild cold would leave her bedridden. Her work slowed down, then disappeared completely. By the end of 2020, pain and exhaustion had consumed her daily life. But she continued climbing mountains and participating in online chats to reassure fans that she was okay. That autumn, in December, revealed the truth, her long-hidden strength. The infection had spread throughout her body, and her body was no longer able to fight off the disease that had been silently developing for years. Tanya Roberts died on January 4, 2021, at the age of 65, after a urinary tract infection progressed to sepsis and multiple organ failure, claiming her life just hours after her last hospitalization. She left behind an estate worth approximately $8 million, a testament to the career that had brought her fame. Marion Ross as B. Foreman. Born on October 25, 1930, in Albert Lea, Minnesota, Marion Ross was 68 when she played B. Foreman, the sharp, outspoken woman whose brief appearances in that 70s show, 1998 to 2006, exuded an unmistakable old-fashioned authority. Audiences saw her confidence and wit, unaware that her private world concealed a much deeper, more silent pain. Her first marriage ended after years of emotional strain, and the divorce left her raising her children alone while trying to find stable roles in the industry. When Happy Days and then Brooklyn Bridge revived her career, the momentum was tremendous, but at the cost of personal exhaustion. Long filming schedules and constant travel strained already fragile relationships. Her second marriage to Paul Burke came late, like a surprise gift, but his death rekindled the loneliness she had long tried to escape. As her body aged, the demands of her work became increasingly difficult to meet. She endured recurring pain during the filming of The Evening Star, determined not to let discomfort overshadow one of the most important roles of her later years. When Alzheimer's disease became fully developed, she began to drift away from the world she had spent decades helping to shape. Marion Ross eventually passed away on July 25, 2024, at the age of 93, at her Los Angeles home after a long battle with Alzheimer's. She left an estimated net worth of $10 million, a modest sum reflecting a career that touched the hearts of generations of television viewers. Kurtwood Smith as Reginald Red Foreman. Kurtwood Smith was born on July 3, 1943, in New Lisbon, Wisconsin. At age 55, he played Red Foreman, the outspoken, sharp-tongued father of the Foreman family, in the series That 70s Show from 1998 to 2006. His portrayal shaped the show's style through his discipline, wit, and a hidden tenderness that fans loved. But his on-screen temperament contrasted sharply with the private struggles he endured in real life. His long marriage weathered far more storms than audiences might imagine. The pressures of the 1980s and early 1990s, years of failed film projects, strained his relationship with Joan Perkle to the point that marriage counseling became their last resort to save the relationship. Filming RoboCop and later Dead Poets Society kept him away from home for extended periods, creating an emotional distance that neither of them knew how to bridge. The marriage survived, but only after both accepted that his growing fame came with a price they neither had foreseen. Years later, his body began to show the wear and tear of a long career. High blood pressure and early cardiovascular complications began to appear in the final years of filming that 90s show, but he persevered, continuing to film with unwavering determination. When he returned to play Red in that 90s show, the filming schedule exacerbated the symptoms, forcing him to take regular breaks. In 2025, Kurtwood Smith, 82 years old, is still working, carefully selecting roles while managing his health with more discipline than ever before. His estimated net worth of $4 million reflects a lifetime of hard work on his acting roles. But his true success is the marriage that has weathered the toughest years of his fame. Don Stark as Robert Bob Pinciotti. Don Stark was born on July 5, 1954, in Washington, D.C. At age 44, he played Bob Pinciotti, the lovable, naive, slightly chaotic neighbor whose loud laughter and missteps became part of the comedic rhythm of That 70s Show. From 1998 to 2006, his performance highlighted the comedic side of Point Place, bringing both silliness and unexpected tenderness. But the joy he displayed on screen came from a man who had weathered more dark years than any comedic plot could possibly convey. His first marriage crumbled under the weight of his addiction. By the mid-1980s, alcohol had ruined his career, finances, and ultimately his family life, ending his decade-long marriage in 1985. Subsequent depression nearly cost him his place in the industry, until a rehabilitation program and the unexpected guidance of director Kevin Smith opened a path back for him. Even after successfully overcoming his addiction, guilt from those lost years continued to haunt him. His health never fully recovered from the consequences of that chaotic life. A persistent back injury from the early 1990s recurred during filming, forcing him to undergo lifelong physiotherapy, which he remains dependent on to this day. But it was during that fragile period that his second marriage to Laura Shopker became a solid anchor. Their life together helped stabilize the physical and mental health he had nearly lost. Now 71 years old, Don Stark continues to act, particularly in voice acting, which helps him avoid the physical pressures that live acting demands. His estimated net worth is $4 million, amassed through decades of quiet perseverance.